How come they are always looking so fine? Amma wondered. Where do they get the money for all these nice things? Once upon a time, in a small lively town called Mankasim, located in the central region of Ghana, there lived a humble couple named Openyin Yeboah, a very strong and hard-working farmer, and his wife, Madam Kakraba, a petty trader who sold foodstuffs like tomatoes, onions, and cassava at the local market. Madam Kakraba was known in the neighborhood for her kindness and always had a warm smile for everyone who came to buy from her. Life wasn't always smooth for Madam Kakraba. Sometimes customers would buy things on credit and promise to pay later, but never came back. This made it hard for her to restock her shop. Slowly, her business started collapsing, and she was left with little to sell. Her once booming market turned nearly empty, with only a few baskets of dried fish and pepper scattered around. On the other hand, Openyin Yeboah was different. He was serious about his work. He was one of the best farmers in Mankasim, known for cultivating big yams, maize, and vegetables. He never allowed anyone to owe him money. He always demanded payment immediately, and because of that, he was able to provide for his family, even when his wife's shop wasn't doing well. They were blessed with 4 lovely children, 2 boys and 2 girls. Their first child, Amma, was a smart and hardworking girl who always helped her mother at the market after school. Even at a young age, Amma was very responsible, taking care of her younger siblings whenever her parents were busy. One day, while working on the farm, Openyin Yeboah suddenly felt a sharp pain in his stomach. It was so bad that he couldn't stand up straight. He held his stomach and groaned in pain, scaring the farm helpers, who quickly ran to his side. "Papa Yeboah, what is wrong?" they asked. But he couldn't answer. All he could do was groan. He was quickly taken home and later rushed to the hospital in Cape Coast. The doctor ran some tests and found out that he had a hernia. "This hernia is serious," the doctor said. "We need to operate on him immediately." They performed the surgery, and it seemed like everything would be fine. But after a few months, Openyin Yeboah's condition worsened. His strength faded, and despite many efforts, he eventually passed away. Amma was just 6 years old when her father died. She couldn't understand everything, but she knew something was terribly wrong when she saw her mother crying every night. "Mama, why are you crying?" Amma would ask. Madam Kakraba would wipe her tears and force a smile. "Don't worry, my child. Everything will be fine," she would say, though deep inside she was scared and unsure of what the future held. After Openyin Yeboah's death, life became even harder for Madam Kakraba. She tried her best to keep the family going, setting up a small shop in front of their house to sell a few items. But customers were scarce, and those who came often begged for credit, which made it difficult for her to make any profit. The landlord, an old grumpy man named Openyin Kwesi Broni, he would visit the house frequently, demanding rent. "Madam Kakraba, if you don't pay the rent, you will have to leave this house," he would say, shouting, causing neighbors to gather and whisper amongst themselves. People felt so sorry for her, but nobody was able to help. The children's school fees became a problem. Almost every week, Amma and her siblings were sent home because of unpaid fees. Amma felt sad seeing her mother suffer so much. She wanted to help, but didn't know how to. One afternoon, after being sent home again from school, Amma sat under a tree in front of their house, deep in thought. She watched some older girls pass by, dressed in fancy clothes, laughing and holding shiny phones. How come they are always looking so fine? Amma wondered. Where do they get the money for all these nice things? Amma, determined to do something to help her mother, decided to approach one of the girls, Ata Sewa, who lived not too far from their house. Sister Ata, I see you are doing well. Please, I need help. Amma said shyly. My family is suffering. My mother cannot afford our school fees anymore, and we don't have enough to eat. Please, I want to be like you so I can help my family. Ata Sewa smiled, but gave Amma a long look. You are still too young, Amma. Do you know what it means to live like us? She asked, raising an eyebrow. Amma nodded eagerly, not fully understanding what she was getting herself into. All right, Ata Sewa finally said. If you really want to join us, meet us tonight at the junction near the old cocoa shed. Amma's heart raced. She wasn't sure what to expect, but felt like this could be her only chance to help her family. That night, as her siblings slept and her mother prayed in the room, Amma sneaked out and met Ata Sewa and the other girls. She soon discovered that they were involved in prostitution. They would stand by the roadside, waiting for men to pick them up for money. Amma was shocked and scared. She didn't like it, but she felt trapped. I'm doing this for my family, she told herself. The first time was terrifying. She felt dirty and ashamed, but the money she made was more than she had ever seen. The next morning, she gave all the money to her mother, lying that a kind stranger had given it to her. Amma, this money is too much. Are you sure someone just gave it to you? Her mother asked suspiciously. Amma forced a smile and nodded. Yes, Mama. Don't worry. God is taking care of us. Amma continued in this lifestyle, feeling more guilty each time, but unable to stop because the money was helping to feed her family and pay the school fees. She would cry herself to sleep some nights, asking God to forgive her and send her a helper so she could stop living this way. One evening, while standing at her usual spot, a young man named Kobe, who lived in the neighborhood, passed by and noticed her. Amma, what are you doing here at this time of the night? He asked, surprised. Amma quickly looked away, pretending not to hear him. But Kobe was persistent. He walked up to her and gently held her hand. What's going on? You can tell me, he said softly. Tears welled up in Amma's eyes as she finally opened up and told Kobe everything. Kobe was shocked but listened quietly. Amma, you are too young for this. You don't deserve to live this way, he said with a serious tone. I promise to help you and your family, but you must promise to stop this life. With hope in her heart, Amma agreed. Kobe began helping her financially and even spoke to some people at the church who supported her mother's business. Slowly, Amma started finding her way back to God, praying more earnestly and avoiding the bad influence of the girls she once admired. Just when things seemed to be getting better, the family elders decided that Madam Kakraba needed help managing the children. They agreed that the children should be shared among different relatives. Amma was sent to live with her auntie in a nearby town, a woman known for being strict and harsh. Amma's life with her aunties was tough. She was given very little food and was constantly overworked. Amma fetch water. Amma sweep the compound. Amma wash the clothes. Her auntie would shoot from morning till night. Amma was treated like a servant rather than a family member. She missed her mother and siblings terribly, but her auntie wouldn't even let her visit them. Kobe, however, didn't forget Amma. He would sneak food and little gifts to her whenever he could. He also encouraged her to keep praying and never to give up. God is not sleeping, he would say. One day, things would change. One evening, Amma's auntie discovered that some money she had hidden was missing. Without any proof, she immediately accused Amma of stealing it. "You thief! After all I've done for you, this is how you repay me," she screamed, dragging Amma by the ear. Despite Amma's tears and pleas, her auntie wouldn't listen. Amma was beaten badly. As punishment, was forced to sleep outside on a cold wooden bench. That night, under the stars, Amma prayed again, asking God to remember her and send someone to rescue them from their suffering. Months passed, and one day, Madam Kakraba came to visit Amma with some unexpected news. "Amma, your uncle in the USA has called," he said with a smile. "He has promised to help us and even plans to bring us all to America to live with him." Amma was overjoyed, but her auntie was not. Jealousy filled her heart. She didn't want Amma and her siblings to have a better life than her own. She tried to sabotage their chances by spreading lies and rumors to their uncle, claiming they were troublesome and not worth helping. But the uncle refused to listen. Despite these challenges, Amma remained hopeful. She knew deep in her heart that God had heard her prayers and was working things out. Finally, after what felt like a long wait, the siblings were reunited and moved back to stay with their mother while the uncle processed their travel documents. Kobe continued to support them, making sure they had enough to eat and encouraging Amma to focus on her studies. A year later, their papers were ready, and they boarded a plane for the first time, flying to the United States to join their uncle. It was a completely new world for them, full of opportunities they had never imagined. Madam Kakraba was filled with joy. She couldn't stop thanking God for finally turning her situation around. Amma adjusted well to her new environment and kept in touch with Kobe, who always gave her wise advice from across the sea. "Amma, remember why you came here. Stay focused on your studies and make your family proud," he would often remind her. Amma took Kobe's advice seriously. She worked hard in school, and her dedication paid off. She was accepted into a prestigious university to study nursing, and 4 years later, she graduated with honors. She soon got a job at a research hospital, earning a good salary and helping her family back in Ghana. Kobe was still taking care of Amma's mother, visiting her regularly and making sure she was never in need. Their friendship remained strong, even across the distance. When Amma felt ready, she processed Kobe's papers and brought him to the United States. The moment they saw each other again, after so many years, they were filled with joy and tears. They realized they were meant to be together. 6 months later, after reuniting, Amma and Kobe got married in a beautiful wedding that brought joy to both families. Madam Kakraba flew to the United States of America for the ceremony and couldn't stop smiling as she watched her daughter and Kobe exchange vows. It was a day of celebration, filled with music, dancing, and laughter. Even though Madam Kakraba was happy in the United States of America, she still preferred the peaceful life in Ghana. After the wedding, Amma and Kobe built a big house for her back in Mankasim and set up a large shop for her to run. She now lived comfortably, visiting the United States regularly to see her children and grandchildren. Amma and Kobe had 3 lovely children and lived a happy, fulfilled life. They never forgot where they came from and always remained humble and grateful for the blessings they received. As they grew older, Amma and Kobe often shared their story with others, encouraging people never to give up, no matter how tough life becomes. No matter what you are going through, never lose hope. God is always there, and even in the darkest times, they would say. Moral lessons. Life can be difficult and full of challenges, but don't give up. Even when it seems like there's no way out, God can send a helper when you least expect it. Never lose hope or give up on yourself. Keep faith alive. Pray and stay strong. In due time, the help you need will come. In times of adversity, keep a positive attitude because no situation is permanent.